I want to do things a bit differently from now on. My first few videos for my survival world were great, but I think I could be a bit more creative with them. I was inspired by Etho, especially with his minimalist editing, and I still want to keep that minimalism, but with a bit more flavor. And with that comes with a change on the focus of this episode. Originally, I wanted to design and build the walls for my desert village, then move on to fixing up and building up my museum, and finally ending with the storage system for my flower farm. I absolutely want to work on all of these in a later episode, but I want to focus on today's episode on a very important part of my world. I would even call it the backbone of my world. I'm talking about the roads. How do we design our paths though? I've thought of two main pillars of making a path: functionality and appeal. Functionality is how the path works, and appeal is how it looks. Pretty simple, right? For functionality, we have does it make sense, which is really asking if the way of the path makes sense. This doesn't really make sense. And the second point is, does the path work? Is it easy to get on and off of the path? And does the path save time? For appeal, we have, does it distract? Which means, does the path take away or is more interesting than the build itself? And finally, does it bend? Which really only asks if the path is perfectly straight. I'm not looking for perfectly straight paths. This is the design philosophy that hopefully I will follow for these paths. Pretty simple, right? I want to show you the progress I made on the paths because I think I did really well on them. So let me show you right here. And this is the first path. This is for the plains biome. I think I did pretty well on this. This is just like a mock-up. So far, this is not going to have like repeating stairs or leaves. One thing I will say is I'm not really sure how about all the blocks I have because it kind of does look like a mess. I might tone it down when I'm actually building the road. But this is the block palette that I want to use: path blocks, coarse dirt, brick, granite, leaves, azalea leaves with the little berries to add a bit of color, and brick wall. So that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like from above. But this is not the only path that I made so far. And over here, we have a very similar path with the walls and the stairs and the way it looks in general, but it's for the desert. First of all, I want to go over why we used birch instead of sandstone, except that we have sandstone walls. I wanted to use birch because it is a lot more distinct than the sand. Because if we use sandstone like over here, it really blends in a bit too much. And I don't want the path to be taking away from builds, but I do want it to be visible. And the terracotta is because I just think one entire color is kind of boring. And I think the orange and the cyan really complements the whole desert vibe. And here we are with the savanna biome path. I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted it to look like, but except that I wanted orange terracotta. And this is what we have. It's kind of a mix of the two. It's primarily one color, but it uses wood, it uses leaves and fences. So pretty basic stuff. The only hardest part is that I have to build all of the roads with all of these paths. So that's going to take a bit of a minute. You might have already asked, why am I building very long paths when the original path is about 2 blocks long, sometimes 3? I don't know how I'm going to fix that problem, but we're just going to go ahead with it and we're just going to expand the paths and see how that works. Obviously, some parts are going to have to be changed. Like if we go over here, well, obviously the stairway is going to have to be changed, especially down there. But places like over here where I have all my chests and stuff, path is going to be a lot more bigger. So this is going to get a lot more smaller. So I'm going to have to figure out different ways to fix all of this. This took so long, but we finally got a relatively small amount of the path done. And as you can see, I have the walls, the leaves. I even added lamps so it lights up at night. I think I did pretty well. Though I also changed one thing is that the inner path is made out of path blocks and coarse dirt, and I used that outer part as brick and granite because it kind of looks more clean. It looks like it's more defined instead of kind of looking like a mess. So I did change that up a bit. So this is what we have so far. And I'm just gonna go ahead and go through the whole part that we finished so far. See, it's lit up, so we don't really have to deal with all the enemies as much unless they come over here. But over here, this is where it ends so far. I don't know what I'm gonna do for this whole area, but I wanna go up here into the sky and show you what it looks like. So I think it looks pretty good. I have all the bushes. I think I did really well on this. It doesn't look too cluttered because there's like obviously plenty of gaps. I added a little Easter egg. If you can tell, like as a tip, look at the polished granite and the coarse dirt. Spells out my username. Before I end the episode, I want to show off a little bit of the desert path and a little bit of the savannah path. I don't have that finished yet because this does take a lot of time. Even for this small area, it does even, we're not even actually into the central area. We're only this stretch of land and it's pretty straight. But before we end the episode, I want to make the desert part and the savannah part. I also didn't use stairs because the path blocks pretty much create depth anyways. As you could tell, there's parts sticking out and parts going in. So we already had that depth without needing stairs for it to maybe make it look a little bit more cluttered than it should be. So that's why we don't have stairs. It took a bit of a long time, but we finally have the path for the desert biome. As we can see here, we have the birch. Let's pretend this is like hardened sandstone. It gives it a distinct color than the sand. We have the terracotta. I think this is cyan. Let me check. It's orange glazed terracotta. And it adds a nice bit of color. And it matches well with the soul lanterns, which is something new that I added. The reason why I'm using soul is because I want the desert to have soul lanterns and soul torches and campfires because I think there's going to be an update that adds color lighting and I want the desert to look blue at night. So that's why we have all of these, soul torches and soul lanterns. Across this bridge here, I also built another part of the desert path, but actually up here we have the savanna biome path, the acacia and the orange terracotta, and the azalea leaves. I think this looks really great, especially with the trees and the lanterns in them. I think it creates a really good atmosphere, especially at night when you have all the lamps with their light, and it just looks really good. I think I'm going to do this for all of the savanna biomes, just have a bunch of trees all around on the sides of the path so we can have this effect everywhere. This video took so long. I think it's been almost 2 weeks because I have so much real life stuff to do, like college work and, all of that. And I am just really trying to, work on this and, do real life stuff too. I also I also have a new PC. So all of these videos actually have been recorded on a MacBook. So we're gonna move over to a PC. I just have to like set up OBS, set up DaVinci Resolve, all of that, make it look beautiful, and we will start recording on there. So that's why it took a bit of a while to get this video uploaded. and to even make this video. It's actually February 13th right now on a Friday. So Friday the 13th. I really wanted this video to be honestly made Friday of last week, but this is where we at right now. But anyways, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. See you next time. Goodbye. Because I'm uploading this on Valentine's Day, I went ahead and made a flag. That's supposed to be a heart on a white background. If you get closer, I can show you my idea for it. See, this is supposed to be a heart, and I wanted it to look wavy. So it kind of looks a little bit distorted, but I think it looks pretty good. It was a really simple build. I mean, I had it all of the blocks anyways, and it's like three colors, gray, white, and red. But yeah, as you can see here, we have a bit of a flag and a gold block because I like being fancy.